1911 was an interesting year. On November 3rd, Chevrolet officially entered the automobile market to compete with the Ford Model T. On May 8th, Pancho Villa launched an attack in Ciudad Juarez to start the Mexican Revolution. On May 15th, the United States Supreme Court declared Standard Oil to be an unreasonable monopoly under the Sherman Antitrust Act and ordered the company to be dissolved. The same year, on June 1st, the Boy Scouts of America published their first handbook, written on the novel notion that boys instinctively want to grow into good men. This Christmas, a fellow Eagle Scout, Garrett Marin, gave me a facsimile of that handbook, complete with the same pictures, the same stories, and the same political incorrectness that wouldn't fly today. I took it on myself to become familiar with the old handbook, skimming through the pages until one passage stuck out to me like a rainbow on a cloudy day. The final and chief test of the Scout is the doing of a good turn to somebody every day, quietly and without boasting. This is the proof of the Scout. It is practical religion, and a boy honors God best when he helps others the most. These words were written in 1911. Today, most Model Ts are in museums. Pancho Villa has a bullet in his chest, and Standard Oil died with the Rockefellers. This year, however, the BSA will be releasing the 13th edition of the Boy Scout Handbook. That's because at the end of the day, there's a reason In-N-Out has mile-long lines, why the Rolling Stones still tour, and why the BSA still believes that the final and chief test of the Scout is the doing of a good turn to somebody every day. It's because despite our cell phones, medical advances, and reality television, there are some things that shouldn't change. The idea that I should obey the Scout law, help other people at all times, and keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight is one that outlives the Model T. It's a creed that I strive to be worthy of, and it's been my honor to walk down that path. To those Scouts still on the road to eaglehood, I stand before you to spur you on in this great battle. In these days of industrialized modernism and cookie-cutter individualism, it seems archaic that you should keep step with the age-old notion that you should be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. It can seem nearly impossible to swim against the tide of mindless living and reject the standard of radical conformity. Old virtues and values are too often the first to go, yet these ideas are perennial, unwavering bastions explaining the ins and outs of being human, specifically of being a man. A few words of advice. Never choose feelings over virtue, pride over honor, experience over greatness. Never value the prospect of feeling good over the prospect of doing good. As someone who humbly wears the eagle rank and has climbed Scouting's highest mountain, I not only wish you well, but fully expect and exhort each of you to finish climbing the mountain on which you currently stand. But in a much larger sense, I have not earned anything or climbed any mountain. In the eyes of many, including myself, I stand at the base of that mountain, not resting on past laurels, but preparing for the arduous task of the duties and expectations that lie before me. If anything, Scouting has taught me that life is a journey suddenly interrupted many years down the road by an ultimate destination. Life is a journey that prepares us for that destination. One of the things I appreciate most about the Christian faith is the fact that I not only know where I'm going, but I know that the road is worth traveling. Christianity has enabled me to utilize a combination of heavenly perspectives and earthly instructions. Trusting in God has taught me not to take life too seriously, but also not to treat it like a punchline. Athanasius writes that when Jesus came to earth, he came first to die for our sins and conquer death. Yet the saint also points out that Christ had a ministry of 3.5 years. He lived, talked, ate, performed miracles, loved his friends and enemies. He showed us you can know where you're going and still tread boldly the path in front of you. As Colossians 3:17 says, "And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him." All living people have a path, and every path is a task. In Greek mythology, an ancient king named Sisyphus was given the task of rolling a massive stone up a hill for the rest of his life. As soon as he reached the top of the hill, however, the stone tumbled to the ground, and he had to start the strenuous task over again. This punishment was meant to show that pompous enemies of Zeus would be punished, yet it succeeded in proving another point, the importance of the aids of friends. Sisyphus heaved that stone up the mountain by himself, straining futilely and fruitlessly. There is truth to the phrase, many hands make light work. For many years, I thought I could become physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight on my own, an island unto myself. Scouting corrected this error. From the get-go, I had this ridiculous idea that I should keep my eyes fixed monomaniacally on the equal rank. As long as I didn't concentrate too hard on silly things like making friends, finding mentors, or learning life skills, I wouldn't have to distract myself from the elusive laurel of eagledom. Along the way, however, I found out that not only are other people necessary tour guides to the road to scouting, they're the reason the path was worth taking. People are the reason scouts exist. From the very beginning, I was introduced to a diverse group of wonderful human beings, all of whom deserve my unmitigated thanks. The Schroeders, who first introduced me to scouting. The Marins, who served as an inspiration and moral support for my scouting career. The Right Honorable Michael O'Donoghue, the legendary Scoutmaster who led me on my first camp out, and I might add, provides a steady stream of great Facebook material. Mr. Gao, a committed Scoutmaster and the first person to inspire me to go for Eagle. Mr. Brienza, an inspiring, godly man whose constant commitment to me and my troop was vital to my growth as a scout. The Coulters, who have journeyed with me and my family almost since the beginning. Mr. Theo Gukins, who inspired me and guided the end of my Eagle journey. Mr. David Smith, a man who was constantly available and accessible to my incessant questions about the odds and ends of scouting. Mr. John Nielsen, who served as my Eagle Scout advisor and guided me through the forest of paperwork and believed in my project since the beginning. In addition to a scouting family, I've also been blessed by the mentorship and friendship of many other people. Dave Johnson, my rad youth pastor, who was kind enough to participate in tonight's ceremony. And I use the term rad because he brought it back into popularity. Rod Shore, my brilliant, godly pastor whose great books program prepared me for college and beyond. Joe Young, who inspired me in so many ways, taught me so many things, and introduced me to Dennis Prager. And Guillermo Lefranc, who will always be my first boss and a constant friend. Where are Haybacks? Oh yeah. Ask me about that afterwards. I'd also like to thank my amazing brother Evan, a loyal man well on his way to becoming an Eagle Scout. Not only have you been a loyal tent buddy and a fellow scout, but you've been an amazing brother and faithful friend. I would also like to thank my amazing sister Grace, the sweetest sister on the planet, who's made it her personal mission to make sure I don't leave the house with my hair looking like the end of a Q-tip. Most importantly, of course, I would like to thank my parents. Not only have you sacrificed for me, tolerated me, and loved me, you've also encouraged me and enabled me to reach the rank of Eagle Scout. It's times like this I'm reassured you didn't just have me for the tax credit. Yet this gratitude would be lacking if I forgot a few very special men. As I explained before, it is the final and chief test of the scout, the doing of a good turn to somebody every day, quietly and without boasting. By definition, men of this caliber do not seek attention, but men like this deserve to be appreciated. While completing my Eagle Scout project, I was blessed immeasurably to meet a few such men, veterans, who are willing to tell their story on camera to record for posterity. It is vitally important that we preserve the stories of these men and women, and I would like to stop and thank them, not only for the participation in my project, but also for the sacrifice of their time, the peril of their lives, and the defense of American ideals. I'm going to list off a few names, and if you hear your name, would you mind standing up? Edwin Shores, Richard Johnson, Peter Brooks, Bob Brockler, Bill Hamilton, Al Paddock, John Stapp, Clem St. Louis, John Manahan, Joe Terry, Kurt Gillette, and Roger Harvey. We're especially glad we were able to immortalize Mr. Harvey's story because unfortunately he passed away earlier this month. If you've served in our military at all, could you stand up as well? Because I think we owe you a big round of applause. Thank you. Veterans like yourselves are not only an inspiration to every American, but the very reason we can be Americans. Your stunning courage at home and abroad, in peace and in war, is a shining example to myself, this nation, and every Boy Scout who wants to grow up to be just like you. I believe it's true every boy wants to grow up to be like those who served our great nation. I certainly do. The Boy Scouts started out as a preparation for the military. In fact, I happen to know that many of the veterans who just stood up were once Boy Scouts. This doesn't surprise me at all. Boy Scouts are young men who have committed themselves to pursuing greatness, and there is no one who is a better example of achieving greatness than those who served in our military. Being in such great company is not only an honor, but a weight. The Eagle Scout Challenge explains that the Boy Scouts of the world constitute one of the most wholesome and significant movements in history, and those are difficult shoes to fill. Yet one thing I learned early in my life, and one thing I would feel confident passing on is this: just because something is difficult doesn't mean it's not worth doing. Just because a path seems rocky doesn't mean it's not the best way. So in the end, I have proven nothing of myself, except that I look forward to following a 100-year-old book in a time-tested way of life. A way of life which meekly but powerfully propounds growth, preparedness, and that a boy honors God best when he helps others the most. With that said, there are a few people I would consider mentors in my life, and I wanted to give you each something to show my thanks. When you hear your name, would you mind coming forward on the stage in kind of a line? John Schroeder, Garrett Marin, Michael O'Donoghue, Rock Brienza, Dave Johnson, and Rod Shore. It's harder than it looks. Mr. Gookins made that look so easy. Once again, thank you, gentlemen. It's become a tradition in many Eagle Scouts to pass on the challenge to a younger scout aspiring to make Eagle. Months ago, I was challenged in the form of a token given to me by a recent Eagle Scout, Garrett Marin. Today, I carry on the tradition by giving it to my brother, Evan Brooks. All right. Evan Brooks, with this token I pass on to you the challenges of Eaglehood. The rank is yours to earn or lose. But this token will show me how proud I will be if you earn this award. And if you do not, I have a particular set of skills. I will find you and I will make you fill out all of the Eagle Scout paperwork anyways. With that, I wanted to thank everyone who came out tonight to share this special moment with me and my family. Of course, I'd like to thank my family, Mr. O'Donohue and Calvary Chapel Old Town for putting this event together. And most importantly, I want to thank you all. I didn't have time to thank each of you individually, but I want all of you to know that you're individually important to me. One of the reasons I can achieve goals like this is because of my amazing friends and family. Thank you, and God bless you.
Not to diss any of my other Eagle Scouts here, but that was one of the best, most eloquent Eagle Scout speeches I've heard.